Global stocks moved in a narrow range on Tuesday ahead of U.S. inflation data. Traders waited for consumer price data from the U.S. to gauge the impact from President Trump's tariff war before adding to their portfolios. In fact, Asian shares swung between small gains and losses. Indian stocks defied broader trends in the region to rise marginally on Tuesday. On the other hand, despite a healthy growth reading, shares in mainland China dipped. Data showing domestic demand in China remained weak, with the housing market recession only deepening. Wall Street futures were flat after rising as much as 0.4% when Nvidia said it plans to resume some chip sales to China. European shares edged up on hopes of a trade deal. Stocks globally have rallied from their slump in April when wide-ranging tariffs were announced, and since then global markets have surged to record high levels as investors speculate tariffs will not significantly harm the U.S. economy and company earnings. And that optimism faces a key test this week as investors read the U.S. inflation print on Tuesday. In fact, also giving clues on the impact from Trump's tariffs and the direction for interest rates. And as the corporate reporting season kicks off, the S&P 500 is trading near a record high, even as earnings forecasts wane. And this comes as companies navigate Trump's trade policies. Traders will have to watch to see if corporate America's report cards justify the optimism priced into equity markets. However, expectations are not high. Wall Street is bracing for the weakest earnings season since mid-2023. Lower estimates could be easier for companies to beat and justify the record rally. U.S. Treasuries and a gauge of the dollar were steady, but Japan's 10-year government bond yield climbed to its highest level since 2008 amid concerns about fiscal spending. The euro shrugged at the tariff headlines noise, but bonds were seen showing interest over the prospect of a continued trade war as well. Bitcoin's historic surge has the OG token breaching above $123,000 for the first time ever. However, the risks of a pullback remain before regulatory easing bets become a clear law this week. In commodities, meanwhile, gold rose for a fifth straight session. Even as investors largely remained on the sidelines, gold is now above $3,355. And the moves in bullion will likely be driven by what inflation data shows.